Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. Here we have another Bant mirror match. How this tournament played out. Happened to get a lot of these on camera. Death and Taxes, Chalice decks. For those unfamiliar with this tournament, this is a unified legacy, so only one Force of Will deck per team. Just so happens that we got that matchup on camera quite often. Sylvan Library coming down for, can't quite make it out, it's something Hub Surfers. Team Andy's mom, they've already faced off previously. Brainstorm. A very menacing permanent here. Sylvan Library could certainly draw a bunch of cards, represent card selection. And we got Force of Negation and Force of Will, so a battle over this green enchantment. Be surprised if... Wow, actually does get answered. So Prismatic Ending takes out the Sylvan Library, but it is quickly replaced with yet another Sylvan Library. Prismatic Ending, the new versatile removal, and deja vu all over again, as a second Sylvan is answered with the versatile new sorcery. Euro. And the necessary green and white mana, a green and blue mana, I should say. Euro could actually show up. Will Andy's mom be able to stop the Titan, or is he going to just steal this game? Jace the Mind Sculptor. Four mana Planeswalker. Whole nother swerve. Ice Fang shows up. He does not actually do a great job versus Jace. Be better at blocking Euro. A Force of Negation for the Surfers stops the opposing Jace. Let's see what happens here. Jace brainstorms. Gonna build card advantage each turn that it does that. Really optimizing the hand while adding cards to it. An incredibly powerful effect. Endurance shows up. Swords to Plowshares clears the Endurance. And now another Euro. So many cantrips, so much card drawing, card advantage, library manipulation. These games could play out so many different ways depending on the accuracy of the players, where they place their priority, how important is the board, how important is the card advantage in the grip, where is it okay to sacrifice a 2-for-1 for either power level or tempo, or of course just preventing your opponent from getting more cards. Force of Negation on a Jace the Mind Sculptor, one of the easier decisions, as obviously if you're worried about card advantage that Jace can provide, you're not as concerned about the fact that you're going down a card, knowing that you'd immediately be in a similarly disadvantaged position once Jace starts activating once, and then every time after that digs a hole deeper and deeper. But just in terms of the tempo, things like endurance, like when are you going to force a will that versus using your removal or digging for your removal? How often can you afford to rely on something like a Euro as a blocker, for example? Very complicated matchup. Got a Swords to Plowshares, kills the Ice Fang, and now the Surfers have Euro and Jace on board. A Caracas for Andy's mom. That'll prevent the attack, but we are in Fate Seal territory. This is quite poor for Andy's mom. Euro setting up his reemergence from the bin. Jace going after the top of the library. There's a fetch land available to shuffle, so it's not that Andy's mom's fate is totally sealed, but it is not looking good. Abundant Harvest finds an Endurance. Have that in here? I guess not. Abundant Harvest, new 1-mana green cantrip of sorts. Key cards loaded up in the slideshow here. If you like having the images, appreciate a thumbs up and a subscribe. It is a bunch of extra work. Tough enough commentating at double speed in one take, but adding in images definitely keeps it engaging. I mean, it's difficult. Give it that. Now we've got a Shark Typhoon being cycled. Is the typical use for the card. Huge 6/6 flyer. This guy turns sideways. And a Prismatic Ending takes him out. Fury allows for instant speed sorceries. Euro. Not likely to be able to matter here. He's a grindy card, but he's not very good at attacking a board like this. You've got Karakas that can bounce him. You've got Teferi that can bounce him, and Jace that can bounce him. And once he's back in hand, you need to cast him and then escape him, costing you 5 cards. You can only do that so many times per game. It's not realistic that Euro is going to be able to interact with this board. So much loyalty with these Planeswalkers. Ice Fang. Another Euro. The life total doesn't really matter here either, as Jace the Mind Sculptor, the most likely route to victory at this point. Just 2 more activations if it wasn't for this Ice Fang, who does slow things down. Ice Fang of his own. The Surfers look to trade, and that has to be a back-breaking play. Force of Negation denies this Prismatic Ending. No ability to counter back. Some of the best hands that you can craft become absolute garbage once the Fury's on the board, because it makes all of those counters that would normally back up your business spells into just total bricks. Normally you'd want to have one business spell with some backup to be able to ensure that that spell resolves. Instead, you're left with just a prayer to throw out there that your opponent easily swats away, and then the rest of your hand is just pure garbage, as the counter spells are literally useless with Teferi on board. He's a brutal Magic card. The Surfers benefited from him that game. We'll see if Andy's mom might have the 3-mana Planeswalker on their side in the next one. A Abundant Harvest off of Tropical Island. Again, players are going to be happy with dual lands in this matchup. Very unlikely that back to basics is going to be a factor. They've played each other in the Swiss already. Probably pretty sure what's going on. For the very new players checking this out, you're going to see a lot of Brainstorm, which is this card on screen just with different art, plus Fetch Land. which is literally the best combo in the game. So Brainstorm's going to draw 3 cards, put 2 back on top. Fetch Land's going to shuffle while giving you perfect mana. Fetch Land is essentially a 5-color land, as it can fetch out any of the dual lands that you need. Bant, it can actually get you any colors that you need, any color combination typically. Sylvan Library showing up. Again, also very good with that shuffle effect. Sylvan's been very strong, though often answered with Prismatic Ending. Bant does have the ability to favorably interact with the board. Durant shows up for Andy's mom. Starts getting aggressive. So the more I see this, the more it feels... Ooh. Blowout line. Oh, look at these fireworks. So we have a Hull Breacher, a Swords to Plowshares. We have a Counter War over it with a Veil of Summer, but the Surfers are actually going to scoop it up after losing that counter battle. Facing down 6 damage a turn and a resolved Hull Breacher is enough that they are just moving on to the next game. He is just that damaging. Keep an eye out for that card. Hull Breacher, I'll cycle through to him. There he is. 3-2 if an opponent would draw a card except the first one they draw in each of their draw steps. Instead, you create a treasure token. So Brainstorm, as I alluded to, one of the best cards in Magic. Draw 3, then put 2 back on top. But you know what? If your opponent has a Hull Breacher, how about you draw 0 and put 2 cards from your hand back on top? And oh, by the way, your opponent gets 3 Lotus Petals in the mix. Just absolutely devastating. Abundant Harvest here. Digging to try and find a land. Finds a tropical island. There's a different art on Abundant Harvest, but that is the card. I do enjoy how Magic is giving us real options on what we want our cards to look like. That's a really positive thing for the collectability of the game, and also just the enjoyment of going to tournaments and creating the aesthetic experience that you want out of your deck. Of course, it also allows players that are winning to have something to work towards without necessarily making it feel like a job. You know, a lot of the time, like, winning money in a tournament is, in a lot of ways, different than winning cards, psychologically at least. If you're the type of person that makes a great living, earns a lot of money, you know, winning $100 at a Magic tournament, you know, you play all day. If you would have made that in an hour, it's just not really the same as winning like $100 card that you may not have purchased for yourself. Just noticed that over the years. Having a story behind the cards also makes them special. Having a dual land that you won in by top 8ing or winning a tournament gives it that extra bit of story entwined with the card. We love to have a great singles inventory here. We do store credit, but that is different than simply reducing it to cash. People are spending it on cards that are going to work for their decks, be it their tournament decks or building a new deck. Andy's mom digging the Surfers with some counter magic available. Ice Fang is on board. And Teferi, and this card has been a real problem. Force of Will being thrown at the Teferi. Mentioned a lot, haven't really shown it yet. All you legacy players, all you established legacy players, certainly going to be familiar with this card. Bottom line's the one that matters. Counter target spell, but being able to do it for free is absolutely essential in a format of this speed, where things threaten to potentially win the game as early as turn 1. Having free counter magic something that a lot of the stronger players really gravitate toward, giving them the maximum amount of decisions to make in a game, hoping to make the most accurate ones, and as a result of that, end up winning the game. Now, Endurance has joined in the fun. A 4 damage clock is very legitimate. Andy's mom gonna need some removal here. He cannot afford to just keep taking 4 to the teeth. And we've got a Endurance bouncing in. And these two Endurances are just kind of bouncing off of each other. A Prismatic Ending is looking to get rid of the 3-4. And Andy's mom fires back with the Swords to Plowshares. We are back to Sylvan Library as Flusterstorm protected. The Endurance. Sylvan has stuck. Flusterstorm coming in for both players. We've seen it be decent and we've seen it be absolutely devastating. Veil of Summer, another card out of the sideboard that can be a huge problem. Again, Prismatic Ending, efficiently putting an end to Sylvan Library before it can generate card advantage. Euro draws a Swords to Plowshares before he can do his circus of drawing cards, gaining life, playing lands, and sacrificing himself. And now Jace the Mind Sculptor, protected by this Ice Fang. This feels like a potential end game emerging. We've got a Swords to Plowshares, clearing out the flashed in Endurance. Endurance looks like he's willing to trade with an Ice Fang for a second, but realizes that's his only credible way of removing loyalty from Jace. He's going to need a Prismatic Ending, or he's going to need to clear the way with some removal. Euro shows up and then comes back, and this really makes the situation that much worse. Oh, he doesn't come back. He doesn't have the double green, which is merciful. Got dueling Endurances. Fate Sealing himself, making sure that even if things go wrong for a turn, if Jace gets hit, he'll still stick around. Fate Seals again, and again targeting himself, looking to improve the quality of his draws while ramping up the Jace, rather than deny Andy's mom some quality draws off the top. Euro. Really a tough sell when you're trying to take care of a Jace the Mind Sculptor. His -1 ability, able to prevent Euro from doing anything efficient. Now an Ice Fang complicates the situation. Oh, and the Hull Breacher. That may just be the back-breaking play. In response, we've got an Ice Fang to draw a card, but that is going to do it. With Hull Breacher on the board, Andy's mom extends the hand. And that is it for the Unified Legacy Open. We'll do another one of these in the near future. For now, we've got Team Trios, which is Modern, Legacy, and 15 Proxy Vintage on the calendar. And thank you for watching. If you enjoy the video with the new cards and all of that, go ahead and give us a like and a subscribe. We appreciate that. We'll see you on the next one.